BYD is ready to live differently. 2026 has not been kind to the Chinese auto industry as a whole. Multiple publicly listed automakers are seeing profits cut in half, or even slashed to the knees. Share prices under heavy pressure, and investors venting their pain face-to-face at shareholder meetings. If you only looked at BYD's financials and stock price, you might think the company is going through a crisis. But take a look at its technology pipeline, overseas expansion, chip development, and robotics strategy, and you'd see a tech giant quietly building up steam. These two completely opposite views reveal that this company, which only makes new energy vehicles, is actually laying out a chessboard far bigger than Cars. 01. The first quarter of 2026 was a temporary darkest hour for the new energy vehicle industry. Michael Anderson, chairman of BYD, was remarkably candid at the shareholder meeting that he pointed out that starting January 1st, 2026, China's full tax exemption for new energy vehicles was halved. That policy shift pulled a massive wave of demand forward into November and December 2025, causing the domestic NEV penetration rate to plunge from 59.1% in December 2025 to 38.6% in January, before rebounding to 44.9% in February. In Q1 2026, BYD's revenue came in at 150.225 billion yuan, down 11.82% year-over-year, and net profit attributable to shareholders was 4.085 billion yuan, tumbling 55.38%. Still, Anderson gave his verdict: the worst is behind us. Driven by Middle East conflicts and soaring oil prices, the NEV penetration rate has been climbing again over the past 2 months. In March, BYD launched its second-generation Blade battery and flash charging technology, directly tackling the charging anxiety that has plagued the first half of electrification. In May, BYD sold 383,500 NEVs, up 0.26% year-on-year, the first positive year-on-year growth in months. But the sales recovery won't be a smooth ride. Anderson said, overall sales in 2026 depend on how fast battery production capacity ramps up. The bigger capacity release will come in 2027. He explained that the second-gen Blade battery production lines are structurally vastly different from the first-gen, requiring retrofitting and upgrades, and the capacity ramp-up takes time. Right now, output is increasing by 20,000 to 30,000 vehicles per month. 02, while the battery capacity ramp-up solves the "how many cars can we sell" puzzle. BYD is plotting a much bigger story than selling cars. If smart driving is the present tense BYD is cashing in on, then chips and humanoid robots are the future tense. It's betting on. A week before the shareholder meeting, Sarah Mitchell, BYD's executive vice president, confirmed in an interview that the company is developing humanoid robots. She added, "The robot race comes down to who has the strongest manufacturing, software, and hardware capabilities, and there's a huge overlap between automotive AI and robotics." The statement sent the market into a frenzy. Rumors quickly spread about a BYD humanoid robot codenamed Emperors Yao, Shun, and Yu, and a plan to deploy 20,000 units internally in 2026. The BYD immediately denied the reports. But the denial itself confirmed one thing: the entry into robotics is real. Only the timeline and scale were exaggerated. In reality, BYD's robotics efforts started much earlier and are more systematic than outsiders realize. Its embodied intelligence research team was formed in 2022 and has already developed process robots, intelligent mobile robots, and humanoid-like robots. On the investment side, BYD backed Xuanji Robotics in 2023 and in 2025 became a major shareholder of tactile technology company Paxini Perception Technology. Based on Sarah Mitchell's comments, industrial robots are the current focus because BYD itself is the biggest user. Down the road, once humanoid robots are ready for the home, BYD can sell them through its global dealer network. This is not blind trend chasing. It's a transfer and reuse of full industrial chain capabilities, motors, electronic controls, batteries, chips, contract manufacturing. The full spectrum of skills needed to build cars can be applied almost directly to robotics. Other listed Chinese automakers like SAIC, Geely, and GAC are already moving into auto-adjacent sectors. BYD's 2025 total payroll hit 130.5 billion yuan. So replacing repetitive production line jobs with robots to cut costs makes perfect sense. Citi predicts the global humanoid robot market will reach $7 trillion by 2050, with 648 million units deployed. For a company searching for a second growth curve, this is absolutely a bet worth making. Almost all of China's major listed automakers are now trying to switch tracks, leap out of a saturated auto market, and open up new blue oceans, especially in fields like embodied intelligence. The hardware backbone supporting the long-term robot vision is its chip and intelligent driving capabilities, also part of BYD's unfolding present tense. Right now, BYD urgently needs to prove to the market that its in-house batteries, automotive-grade chips, advanced driver assistance systems, and vehicle contract manufacturing are not just cost centers for car production, but high-quality assets that can be commercialized externally and generate incremental revenue. Currently, BYD's fleet of vehicles equipped with driver assistance systems exceeds 3.15 million units, generating over 200 million kilometers of driving data every day. Its intelligent driving R&D team numbers more than 5,000 engineers. The in-house developed 4nm automotive-grade driver assistance chip, Xuanji A3, was launched in May and is already in mass production, with 3 chips delivering a combined computing power of over 2,100 TOPS. Looking at these numbers, BYD's entire intelligent driving ecosystem integrates foundational data, algorithms, and proprietary chips into a closed loop for continuous self-iteration and improvement. Millions of vehicles on the road constantly gather real-world driving data, producing a massive trove of real scenario testing material, a core advantage that most pure-play autonomous driving companies can only dream of. Once China officially rolls out L3 autonomous driving regulations, BYD has the built-in advantage to scale high-level autonomous driving rapidly. Michael Anderson didn't mince words. The moment L3 regulations land, BYD will take off. After the technology story, let's turn to BYD's most immediate growth engine right now: overseas markets. Once battery capacity ramps up, BYD will simultaneously push both domestic and overseas core markets, with the overseas business being the most certain growth segment at this stage. In May, BYD's overseas auto sales hit 160,600 units, up 80.7% year-on-year, a new all-time high. In the first 5 months of this year, cumulative exports reached 614,500 units, accounting for 35% of total sales. Michael Anderson made it clear that the original 2026 export target of 1.5 million units is now expected to be exceeded. Currently, BYD has already achieved 40.96% of this year's export goal. On top of that, Anderson laid out a medium to long-term ambition. In 5 years, BYD aims to be the true global number one by scale, with a blueprint of selling 10 million units by 2030 through overseas expansion. 06 To support this global strategy, BYD is no longer just exporting finished vehicles. It's rolling out its entire industrial system overseas. On the production side, local factories in Thailand, Brazil, and Uzbekistan are already operational. The Hungary production base is about to go live, and the Indonesia plant is entering mass production preparation. On the logistics side, BYD's customized roll-on/roll-off fleet has expanded to 8 vessels, capable of shipping 250,000 to 300,000 vehicles per year. It's worth noting that this rapid overseas expansion comes with significant cost pressures that can't be ignored. The EU's countervailing duties on Chinese-made NEV models are gradually taking effect, and building new factories abroad is a heavy asset investment that stretches the payback period. Lifting overseas gross margins will require years of operational grounding. There are no shortcuts. It has to be earned step by step through production scale and brand premium. 07 If sales are BYD's face, then its stock price is the lining, and that lining has been giving shareholders sleepless nights. At the shareholder meeting, one investor bluntly said the company's capital market performance lagged far behind CTL, and that he was heavily invested, deeply underwater, and feeling extremely heartbroken. Facing the criticism, Michael Anderson responded emotionally, "BYD is my life." He added, "Everyone recognizes our potential, but our stock price hasn't yet reflected it." He asked shareholders to be patient and promised, "We will deliver better returns for shareholders." The contrast between BYD's business performance and its stock market valuation is indeed glaring. In 2025, BYD posted revenue of 803.965 billion yuan and net profit of 32.619 billion yuan, putting its profitability at the very top among listed passenger car companies. Yet since the annual report was released, BYD's share price and market cap have fluctuated downward. As of the close on June 18th, BYD's A shares and H shares stood at 88.13 yuan and 80.85 Hong Kong dollars, respectively. From the perspective of Auto K-Line, while this is certainly linked to sliding sales and the Q1 profit drop this year, the bigger issue may be that the market is still valuing BYD through the lens of a car manufacturer, rather than the tech platform it is becoming. Michael Anderson said the worst is over. Behind that statement lies the full breadth of BYD's technology rollout and long-term capacity planning. That plan has a clear timeline, but it also has to shoulder very real cost pressures. The long grind of the capacity ramp-up, the huge capital being poured into overseas factories. All of these test shareholder patience that what's truly worth watching may not be whether monthly sales figures can stay positive, but that BYD is no longer just a company that sells cars. It's morphing step by step into an integrated industrial entity spanning energy, intelligent driving, high-end manufacturing, and industrial robotics. That is the fundamental reason the market needs to re-rate BYD. When that re-rating happens will depend on the actual progress of technology deployment and capacity expansion. Until then, All investors willing to hold on for the long haul are essentially paying for BYD's long-term growth potential. Over the past 3 to 4 years, urban driver assistance technology has advanced at breakneck speed. EV startups and tech giants have fiercely competed over map-based versus mapless approaches. Buzzwords like end-to-end, VLA, and world models.by this year. L3 autonomous driving has been popping up frequently in marketing, as if the autonomous driving era is right around the corner. But the elephant in the room seems to have been automatically ignored. Who takes responsibility when an accident happens while using these driver assistance systems? On this question, the one consumers care about most of the industry has stayed silent. The industry is boiling over with excitement. But for users, if no one takes liability, no one truly stands behind the technology. According to data shared by BYD, fewer than 2% of vehicles on the road have city navigation pilot capabilities, and among those who have it activated, only 30% actually use it. The other 70% remain on the sidelines because of price, experience, and safety concerns. Massive tech investments have struggled to become part of daily life. And the company that broke this deadlock and became the first to take full liability for city driver assistance wasn't a high-profile startup or a tech powerhouse, but the consistently steady and pragmatic BYD. On May 28th, BYD held its Dare to Be Intelligent Strategy Conference in Shenzhen. After taking full liability for intelligent parking safety last year, BYD once again stepped up and committed to taking full liability for city navigation pilot safety for 1 year. This is practically the first time an automaker has used full liability coverage to clearly define the responsibility boundary for driver assistance use. In essence, it turned technical confidence into a commercial promise, pushing previously blurry lines of responsibility into sharp clarity that's easy to foresee. That BYD's City Driver Assistance Liability Guarantee will become a watershed moment, marking the Chinese intelligent driving industry's shift from wild growth to liability maturity. More automakers will inevitably follow, and China's intelligent driving sector could become the first in the world to build a healthy capability, liability, trust ecosystem. Of course, amid the big urban driver assistance leap forward, BYD has always stuck to the philosophy that safety is the ultimate luxury, keeping its powder dry and working hard behind the scenes. We can't help but ask, in an industry full of fierce rivals, why was BYD the first to step up? Guaranteeing safety is backed by technical strength. The core contradiction in today's driver assistance industry is glaring. Companies are frantically piling on LiDAR, city NOA, and full scenario coverage, while CN consumers barely want to touch the driver assistance switch. Michael Anderson once put it bluntly, the root reasons users don't use driver assistance are that it's too expensive, not good enough, and they're afraid to use it. Among these, the fear caused by unclear liability boundaries is the biggest barrier, blocking mass adoption. In contrast to the conservative approach of most automakers, who push features but duck responsibility, BYD jumped out of industry convention and rolled out a liability guarantee policy. If an at-fault accident occurs while using CNOA City Navigation Pilot in compliance with the rules, BYD will directly cover the compensation. As we all know, urban environments have always been the hardest nut to crack for driver assistance. Dense traffic elements, pedestrians, e-bikes, complex road topologies, and Countless traffic lights. So getting a car to drive well in the city using driver assistance is already tough for most companies. Taking it to the level where you can guarantee accident liability. In other words, pushing safety capabilities up by a huge leap is extremely challenging, but it's not that industry players never imagined offering such a guarantee. But this isn't something you can solve just by throwing money at IT. IT requires the backing of a whole set of technical and systemic capabilities. BYD stepping up today to guarantee city driver assistance may seem surprising, but in reality, it's been preparing for a long time. Its self-developed intelligent driver assistance system, God's Eye, was built with thousands of engineers iterating over nearly 3 years. Plus, BYD's innate advantage is its sales volume. Millions of vehicles equipped each year. With a massive fleet on the road, not only thoroughly validating the technology, but also feeding back enormous amounts of data to help the system iterate rapidly. Last year, BYD announced its liability guarantee for intelligent parking. The results speak for themselves. Usage rate jumped from 21% to 93%, and the accident rate was near zero. This shows BYD has deep experience in safety-oriented algorithm design. For a safety system, what really matters isn't flashy features, but how many corner cases it has handled. And that's exactly where BYD's scale advantage kicks in again. Beyond mature algorithms and architecture, BYD's whole vehicle intelligence strategy also provides a foundational layer. Think of the driver assistance system as the car's brain, but just like the human body, the brain handles logic while the cerebellum's motor coordination is equally critical. The same goes for cars. Driver assistance is the brain, and whole vehicle control is the cerebellum. BYD proposed its whole vehicle intelligence strategy as early as 2023, pouring hundreds of millions of yuan into it. Its accumulated expertise in vehicle electrical architecture and signal transmission enables a driver assistance system with faster response and more redundancy at the vehicle level. Now, with the launch of BYD's own driver assistance chip, its intelligent technology closed loop is even more complete, relying on the 4nm automotive-grade Xuanji A3 driver assistance chip, the God's Eye 5.0 system, and the Xuanji Architecture 2.0. BYD has achieved full-stack in-house development of chips, sensors, algorithms, and vehicle control, paired with a 10-layer redundancy architecture, creating a dual hardware-software safety protection system. In short, a driver assistance system is a complex ecosystem, from hardware sensors, chips and computing platforms, controllers, to software algorithms. Each link is essential. BYD's confidence in guaranteeing city navigation pilot liability comes not only from mature algorithms, but also from its vertical integration capabilities in intelligent technology and its deep foundation in whole vehicle intelligence. The second half of Smartization. Chips become the decisive hand. Not many people know this, but BYD's journey into chip-making actually started even before it began building cars. In 2002, BYD set up an IC design department, the predecessor of BYD Semiconductor. After years of technological accumulation, it became the first in China to mass-produce automotive-grade IGBTs and SiC power chips, winning 2 National Science and Technology Progress Awards and laying a solid foundation for future intelligent development. Today, BYD has a chip R&D team of over 7,000 people, has invested more than 100 billion yuan cumulatively, and operates 4 major chip R&D bases. IT covers all 7 key steps, from product definition architecture design, circuit design, layout design, wafer fabrication, packaging to testing, making it the only automaker in the world with full process, full-chain chip manufacturing capabilities that as the global auto industry accelerates its smart transformation. The semiconductor center of gravity is shifting to the back end. Chip integration, capability, reliability, and full-chain self-sufficiency are becoming the keys to determining smart vehicle competitiveness. Against this backdrop, only an automaker with complete chip capabilities can truly grasp the core voice in intelligentization. BYD Chairman Michael Anderson said. In the first half of electrification, the focus was on batteries. In the second half of smartization, the focus is on chips. In the electrification first half, BYD solidified its position as the top seller in China's NEV market through deep cultivation of blade battery and DM hybrid technology. In the smartization second half, leveraging 24 years of chip expertise, BYD launched China's first 4nm automotive-grade driver assistance chip, the Xuanji A3. With full-chain in-house R&D capabilities, it seized the high ground of intelligentization, achieving full control over the driver assistance chain while providing a self-sufficient chip solution for China's automotive supply chain. The chip is now in mass production, with functional safety reaching ESGLD, fully supporting L3 and L4 high-level autonomous driving. 3 chips on board deliver over 2,100 TOPS of combined computing power, while balancing power consumption and utilization rates, greatly upgrading driver assistance computing performance and raising the safety ceiling. Chips are the foundational capability in intelligent technology deployment. Every automaker knows they need to invest, but not all have the technology, resources, or strategic stamina to pull it off. That's why many call for intelligentization, but very few actually make their own chips. Some EV startups have set up chip efforts, but since they're still scaling up, they often need external resources to sustain chip business development long-term. Some have started spinning off or externally supplying their chip units, diluting the strategic value of in-house chip development to some degree. The launch of BYD's in-house 4nm Xuanji A3 driver assistance chip not only marks the completion of BYD's deep hardware-software integration for intelligent driving, but also declares that, beyond electrification, the company is now turning full force to its second growth engine, smart technology, when AI and chips mesh gears. BYD's tech transformation accelerates. When people think of advanced intelligent driving, names like Huawei and Tesla usually come to mind. BYD has often been underestimated because of its strengths in core EV technology and sales volume. But now, by becoming the first automaker to take full liability for urban driver assistance, BYD is declaring a powerful rise in tech strength. Coupled with the launch of its automotive-grade driver assistance chip, BYD has not only put in place the final piece of its intelligentization puzzle, but also completed its transformation into a company with a complete technology ecosystem. A driver assistance leader blazing its own unique trail, while most automakers are still piecing together externally sourced hardware and driver assistance systems. BYD has achieved full-stack in-house development from chips to algorithms, covering the entire chain from chips, algorithms, to perception hardware. That is the core tech stack of a truly intelligent tech company. Today, the wave of artificial intelligence is sweeping the globe and has become a new generation of productivity. Algorithms are the soul of tech companies. But without the three core capabilities of chips, systems, and algorithms forming a moat, you simply become a playground for someone else's technology. With its new intelligent tech stack, BYD can rebuild capabilities and experiences across the board, from vehicle architecture to driver assistance and even smart cockpits. More directly, greater computing power will support more powerful AI models, helping to quickly widen the experience gap in driver assistance. From Tesla to Chinese startups, no one achieved a quantum leap in autonomous driving until their in-house chips went into vehicles. The core reason is that today's driver assistance systems have entered the AI paradigm. For the industry, the experience has noticeably improved, but for individual companies, there's no longer a moat based on old rule-based algorithms, and the experience gap is rapidly narrowing. Chip performance breakthroughs become the fundamental variable. Whoever can custom build a more powerful chip for their own algorithms can potentially achieve a generational lead in experience. BYD clearly sees this trend, that IT has already introduced a new AI physical large model with road prediction capability that can make decisions based on potential risks ahead, making driver assistance feel more like a human driver and solving pain points like hesitant lane changes and jerky braking that if paired with BYD's own driver assistance chip to unlock more computing resources, the experience upgrade potential will be even greater. In short, once the gears of chips and AI start meshing, they will quickly trigger a storm of intelligent upgrades. BYD has clearly reached that inflection point and is accelerating across the board. An external catalyst is also arriving. Tesla's FSD has just announced its entry into the Chinese market, fueling a tidal wave of driver assistance in China. BYD is charting a path distinct from FSD, building a complete driver assistance ecosystem centered on scaled data, proprietary chips, localized algorithms, and a trust foundation rooted in full liability for everyone. From in-house R&D to liability guarantee, from chip breakthroughs to mass adoption. In the second half of Smartization, BYD's driver assistance is moving from low-key cultivation to all-out leadership, in the leading pack of Chinese driver assistance. A company that dares to guarantee urban technology will, by any measure, secure a seat at the table.